I'm Lance Phillips. I wore this bright colored shirt today because one of our viewers thought I looked better in a bright colored shirt, so thanks for that.
I'm Chris King. That was my mom. She cares more about how Lance looks than myself, her own son. True facts.
I have two mothers that care about me.
Yeah.
That's
she does,
amazing.
Yeah. Tell Lance to wear a bright shirt. He looks better in a bright shirt. Unbelievable.
She doesn't give you clothing cues?
Hey, Mom, I was on the show too.
I think that's... I think it's important that she tells you, that she doesn't tell you this stuff because she obviously thinks you look perfect.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's the case.
I think it could be. You're looking pretty dapper today.
Yeah, you like this Australian tie?
Yeah. Lance Phillips, Chris King with you for The Gloves Are Off. Catch us on Twitter at Gloves TV, of course, and Facebook, The Gloves New Cap. Let's talk about that tie. That's a pretty cool tie. It looks like it has some Aussie flavor to it.
Yeah, it's Australian Day on Friday. I have 3 Aussies on the team, Meg Frost, Tori Dugan, and Ashley Norman. So they asked me to wear it on the show, and I'll wear it on Friday for the game. So hopefully it'll bring us some good luck.
So listen, this weekend in Lakeland land, you have a mother-daughter weekend coming up. Are the Australian mothers coming?
They are not, but we are doing
that would have been incredible.
Something special I can't say for those mothers that can't come.
Okay. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
Listen, let's keep the flow going here with the Lakeland teams because one of them is pretty good. Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball, the #1 ranked team in Canada, 16-0. Just destroyed Keano College, 3-0 Friday, 3-0 Saturday. Chris, is this the best Lakeland team ever?
So that can only be determined at the end of the season, whether or not they go undefeated and win the national championship.
You can't determine right now, compared to any other team at 16 games in the season, whether it's the best team ever.
I think you're the guy that always tells me playoffs don't start right now. At the end of the day, it's how they do in playoffs, right? If they win ACAC, if they win nationals, this is the best team ever. They have a shot to go undefeated, which has never happened before. Okay,
so you clearly don't think this is the best team ever. What is the best team in Chris King's mind?
I do think this is the best team.
And I know you're going to, you don't be biased here, King.
I really like the 2012-2013 team personally, but I think...
Volleyball?
Yeah. This team is really good. They should be back-to-back defending national champions.
Did the 2012-2013 team win a national championship?
Actually,
no. Did the 2011-2012 team win a national championship?
No.
No, I don't think they did. Did the 2011-2012 team win a conference title?
They won silver.
Oh, but that's not winning the conference title.
They went 17-3, the best regular season record ever. Is
about to be demolished. I think we're all.
I agree. If they go undefeated and win, what if they go undefeated and lose? Hopefully, it doesn't happen. Knock on glass or wood. What if they go undefeated and lose first round of playoffs or second round of playoffs? Then is that the best team ever?
They won a national championship last year, and it's the same team except for Laura Popplestone.
I know, but if they don't produce the same results, then is it the best team? Then last year's team's the best team, right?
As it stands right now, in my vast history of Lakeland and my vast knowledge of the program and how long I've been covering this program. This is currently the best team ever. And you and I have talked at length about your basketball teams from 2014, 2015, the undefeated season, and then 22-2 this year before that.
Yep.
And just based off our discussions, this is the best Lakeland team ever. Based off what they did last year, the fact that they brought back 98% of their team, and what they're doing this year, I don't think you can say there's a better Lakeland team.
They're extremely talented, very fun to watch, and I would like to see more people watching them because this is a once in kind of every 20 years to see a team
Best ever.
Best ever.
Best ever.
The CFL season is getting closer.
Yeah.
Lance, what should we expect from our beloved Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Listen, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, what did they go last year? They went 10-8 last season.
Correct.
Listen to this. They went 10-8 last season, 5-13 in 2016, 3-15 in 2015. So they haven't had a winning season for almost 3 years. Went 10-8 in 2014. This team has gotten better. Chris Jones is a better coach than he was the year before. Duron Carter just re-signed. Zach Collaros and Brandon Bridge are going to have an epic quarterback battle this coming June for the starting spot. This team is going to be good. Are they going to be Winnipeg or Calgary good? Probably not. But I would not be surprised if this team ends up third in the West.
So is this team going to be good enough to beat them in a one-game playoff? That's what it's going to come down to, right?
Listen,
10-8, they could probably win, 13 games this year, we're saying?
Listen, football is one thing that I live by the motto, any given Sunday. And because it's true, anything can happen. I'm not sure many people picked the Toronto Argonauts to beat the Calgary Stampeders in the 2017 Grey Cup.
I know one guy that did.
Well, then you know one guy. I don't know what to say to that. I got nothing to say
You're-
to that. But what I do say is, in a one-game playoff, yes. If it's a best of three, maybe not. But one game, yeah, 100% I think they could. This is going to be a good team this coming season.
And 10-8 is respectable. It's not great, it's respectable. But like you said, where they're coming from to where they're going, they could be really good this year.
10-8 in the West is going to get you a crossover spot into the East, almost certainly, given how pathetically bad Montreal and Hamilton were, and will be this coming year.
Right. And I have them going exactly the same. I say division finals maybe. If this team
In the
sticks
East?
yeah, in the East.
So you think they're crossing over?
Crossing
again?
over, yeah. And maybe losing that game again.
Listen, Calgary's not going to be as good as they were in 2017, okay? This team is going to play in a Western Division playoff game. They're not going to cross over. If anything, I think Edmonton's going to be the team that crosses over this year.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think Edmonton will be the team that crosses over. I think Saskatchewan's lined up to have a really solid season. They've got Bakari Grant. Chad Owens is back, although Chad Owens' best years are behind him. But still, he can create some noise out there. And there's still a big free agent market. They've got some guys that they could sign, that can help them out. That's for sure. Toronto Blue Jays made another splash. Oh, not really, but kind of. They traded for Randall Grichuk, sending Dominic Leone and Connor Green, a prospect with AA, out of the city, bringing in Grichuk. How much closer does Grichuk get them to the postseason?
Well, Fangraphs tells me Grichuk gets you one win.
What does Chris King tell you?
Chris King says not much better, is what I'm going to tell you. I think you get a pretty good defensive outfielder. He can play multiple positions.
He's a starter.
Yeah, he's a starter.
He's a starter
and I complained about this last week.
Yes, you did.
That we don't have any starters.
Who's we? The Lakeland Rustlers?
We as in the Jays, because we're all cheering for the Jays in Canada, let's be honest. 238 batting average last year, 285 on base percentage, not great, either of those numbers. A 1 WAR last year, so he earned 1 win for his ball club. The things I like about him, he is young, as we say, he can play multiple
But over
spots.
his career, he's got a 7.5 WAR.
Yeah, but last year he wasn't great, right?
Everyone has an off year.
Okay, and he's only 25, right? He's turning 26.
For sure.
20 home run guy. We know how the Jays love home run guys, and in that stadium could pop up to like 30. Downside, strikes out a lot, and one of our favorites, Anthony Alford. Where does that leave him in the mix?
I am not. We're getting off topic with Anthony Alford, but I mean, what's he ranked in baseball prospects? He's 60th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Baseball prospects 60th. I'm not convinced on Alford just yet. I think he needs another year or two in the minors before he even hits the big club. I expected he'd be there by 2017 or 2018, but injuries have taken their toll on him. So, as far as Alford, it keeps him in the minors.
Right.
This guy is going to be a starter in the outfield. People have complained about outfield depth. They've got depth in the outfield. They have huge depth in the outfield now with Granderson, and Grichuk is going to help them big time. He's a starter in the outfield. That's where he plays. He's not going to be a defensive liability like Jose Bautista was.
Yep.
And again, I've said this, and I said it last week, he's hitting in a more hitter-friendly ballpark. That average is going to go up. It's going to go up. And I believe his wins above replacement are going to go up as well.
And hopefully, I think it also makes Kevin Pillar maybe available for trade in the future just because of the age factor. Just keep that in mind as the season rolls on.
It's possible, but man, I mean, there's no way Kevin Pillar, he's still performing at an elite level in the outfield. There's no way you're getting rid of that guy.
If you're going to make a trade, he's got value.
If the team is terrible, if the team comes out of the gate and they're good, they're not going to get rid of the guy.
That's fair.
Right, it's fair. Fair.
Fair. The New England Patriots are going to yet another Super Bowl. Lance, has Tom Brady solidified himself as the greatest NFL player of all time?
This is fascinating because he is, without question, the best NFL quarterback of all time. There's no argument in my book. Best football player, this is tough to debate because he's not playing the same positions as some of these other greats. I'd put him in the top 3. I don't know if he's the best ever, but he's in the top 3. What he's done over his career is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and I love to hate on New England. I love to hate on the Pats and Brady.
You can't say this guy is not one
I can't
of the
even
greats.
argue, and I have this argument with guys all the time. Tom Brady is the best QB. You look at his numbers, 5 Super Bowls, he's going to win another Super Bowl.
And he does it, it's not like he's done it with, a steady team of guys that have hung around him all the time. I mean, there's been a few guys like, not Amendola, injured.
Edelman,
thank you,
yeah.
Who's been around him for quite a while. Gronkowski's been there a while, but for the most part, a lot of his tools have come and gone, and he's consistent with these guys all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. You could put the Cleveland Browns, well, Josh Gordon's a pretty good receiver, but you could put the worst receivers in the league in front of Tom Brady, and he'd make them some of the best.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that goes between Brady and Belichick, because Belichick finds a way to put those guys in the right spots, because they are not flashy. They don't have a Randy Moss in his prime or anything like that. Gronk is a tool that we haven't really seen in this generation, but Brady's been phenomenal. The only guys I think of that could compare to Brady, Jerry Rice for how he changed the game as a wide receiver, and Joe Montana would be the QB comparison that I'd have. But Joe Montana doesn't stack up, but he did change the game in terms of how quarterback position was played.
Yeah, listen, I'm changing my tune. I think he is the best football player of all time. I really do. I mean, there's a high probability he's going to win a 6th Super Bowl ring on February 4th. Yeah. A high probability. He's been to what, the Super Bowl 8 times in his career?
It's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. The consistency and at that age is just unparalleled to any other player.
And he did it with 12 stitches in his thumb. Let's add that to the mix.
Yeah. Of course, they hit it. So now that's also going to be a part of the Super Bowl, right?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we say consistency 3 or 4 times now, but what this guy has done over his career, and I will not forget when he came in for Drew Bledsoe and took over, and when you watched him play, you knew Bledsoe was done.
Yeah.
He was done. And this guy has been that guy since that game. He has never wavered from how good he has been. And he's been healthy.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that's the impressive part at that position.
Recently, we're seeing more helmet-to-helmet hits in both the NFL and the CFL, the latest, of course, being Rob Gronkowski. I mean, he took a hit from Jags Barry Church. Now, that was unintentional, but still, it begs the question, with all these helmet-to-helmet hits, Kinger, is it time the CFL and the NFL institute the NCAA's penalty for targeting, including ejections?
Yes, I'm on board. I think you got to do it. There's got to be a way other than finding the guys after the game. If you're taking out the best player in a Gronk or a Kelsey a couple weeks ago that we saw, why not take out the player that potentially took that guy out of the game?
This is where it gets gray. And I've said on numerous occasions, if the helmet collides with the helmet, something's got to happen. Now, that being said, that Church hit on Gronkowski was definitely unintentional. And if anything, it looked like Church tried to pull up and try, because if you hit him at the knee, you're going to blow Gronkowski's knee out. Right?
You just can't hit Gronk.
It's tough, but I don't think, it's just the way it happened. But that Kelsey hit, that's got to change. The better question almost might be, why hasn't this been instituted by now? Why hasn't it? There's been so many targeting hits that we've seen that have gone unpenalized even. It's outrageous. This has to be in these leagues in 2018. It has to be.
It's something that the NFLPA needs to really push for, because a fine of $25,000 is not doing anything to these guys, right? If you take them out, they're suspended for a game or kicked out of that game. Let's say they're kicked out of that game and don't play the next game. That's a lot of money. That's 1/18 of your year. Right. So that's going to make you think a lot more. And as you said, some of these are incidental. Incidental or not, when the best player on the offensive side of the field goes out of the game, that changes the game. You don't see too many DBs leaving the game for concussion.
But that's not a real actual targeting. That wasn't a targeting penalty, right?
No, but if you take out the head-to-head contact, just like you take out the low blow, then all of a sudden you're not going to see as many of those happen. You might see the odd 1 or 2. But if you know you're getting kicked out, you're going to be a lot more careful about how you go after guys.
I mean, one that comes to mind, even just off the top of my head, because I watched them, are the Argos, when Cody Fajardo was hit by Kyrie Hebert in Montreal, if I'm not mistaken, on the sidelines. Hebert launched at him like a rocket, and he hit him helmet to helmet. That has got to be an automatic ejection, and it wasn't even penalized.
Right.
And that's where the change has to happen. Until they do it, it's still going to continue to happen. Just make it work. Do it.
The Cleveland Cavaliers gave up 148 points on Saturday to the OKC Thunder. Lance, what is wrong with Cleveland besides the fact they can't play defense?
It's not Tyronn Lue, I can tell you that.
You think it's job safe?
I don't think it's job safe, but I'm not putting this blame on Tyronn Lue. I'm putting this blame on LeBron James.
Yes.
I'm putting this blame on LeBron James. Look, if he's going to act like he's the coach, the people's coach, and he's going to carry on the way he carried on when we watched him play the Raptors, the blame needs to lie on this guy. If he's going to take this team on his back, then he needs to be responsible for this kind of garbage.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem right now with LeBron. He's still really, really good, but he is so difficult to play with, and he causes drama all the time in the dressing room.
And he's so self-absorbed.
Yeah, guys don't want to play. If you look at the stats, Cleveland's actually better this year offensively and defensively when he's not on the floor.
Right.
Which is very odd. Now, is that to do with chemistry? This weekend, obviously, Kevin Love was caught crying in a team meeting after he was called out for missing a game due to injury and then not showing up the next day. There's a bunch of stuff going on, but this all leads to, I don't think guys want to play with LeBron.
You would think, if you said this 3 years ago, guys don't want to play with LeBron, someone would think you're mentally deranged.
Yeah.
Because he is still, in my opinion, the best player in the NBA. But he's slowly, that is slowly coming down, and we're seeing guys catch him just because of the way that his attitude is and how he's affecting teammates on the court. He is, I don't like using the term he's a cancer, but he is a problem on this team right now. And this team may be better to trade this guy.
Well, I think he's going to walk away in free agency. Unfortunately, if you like Lou, I think Lou's going to be
I didn't
gone.
say I like Lou. I'm just saying that Lou is not the issue here.
Yeah,
he's not the. When you look at the hierarchy of what is the problem in Cleveland, Tyronn Lue is not at the top. Tyronn Lue might be third or fourth.
It's LeBron's team. It's always been LeBron the problem or the solution.
The solution for Cleveland right now is to seriously consider trading LeBron and getting some nice pieces that can help you. Yeah, you might not win this year, but you won a title with LeBron, and you got pretty close the next year.
Blow it up and rebuild. I agree with you.
Blow it up.
You got a draft pick coming already from the Brooklyn pick. You might as well get some more picks.
Oh, I love it.
You're not
Blow
winning.
it up, baby. Boom!
They need it blown up.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Words come down the pipe that your mother's not happy with my shirt.
No, she's gonna like it, man. She's gonna like this one. Just remember,
My
Mom.
own mom doesn't comment on my attire.
Yeah, you're welcome from Rhonda.
Well, my mom's name's Rhonda too.
Come on.
Yeah, I swear to God, that's amazing.
Samesies.
Your mom's last name isn't Watson, is it? That would be really weird.
No, it's not. It's actually King.
Is it actually King?
Yeah, it is. From the great north. What do you got here?
I got Corporal Matthews. I'm a big fan of Corporal
You
Matthews.
always have Corporal
Matthews.
Matthews.
And we've talked about Corporal Matthews before. So he's always got some good quick comebacks. Okay, of course it's Twitter, so his comeback could have been 10 minutes later. I don't know. San Jose Sharks tweeted originally that Joe Thornton is climbing the all-time scoring ranks so quickly he might even crack the NHL top 100 soon, to which Corporal Matthews responded quickly, he's sold that half of his stats were recorded using Roman numerals.
He does look old.
Honestly.
He looks rough.
You think he looks rough?
Yeah, just with the beard, he looks like he's been living in the floor.
Streak of gray down the middle, right? Like it's kind of, that makes him look old.
He should full dye that actually. Skunk stripe it.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I had Adam Lund at Lunder24. Well, that's awkward. At Jay Onright, at TSN O'Toole. Too soon. Sports Center with Jay and Dan. The Vikings are not going to the Super Bowl.
How do you make that error?
I think
How do you make it?
They must like put up both promos, like have it ready to go, and then they're like, "Oops, wrong one."
Mail in the beak.
I don't understand how you make that error. All right, so I mean, if you haven't seen this, then you haven't seen it. This is Barstool Sports at Barstool. Even the non-greased up polls are already taking people out in Philly. Like, oh, so what? And there's a reverse angle of this too. There's a reverse angle of this. But it's not as effective looking as that. That guy's lucky he actually didn't lose a leg because he almost fell between the subway and the platform.
I saw the reverse angle first, and it didn't look like he's going that fast. He was chugging in that one. Like he was going.
And this is the problem with being drunk and running after a subway train. What was he doing?
Yeah. I think he was slapping on the glass and cheering on his friend. I don't know, his new friends maybe. Joel Klatt at Joel Klatt. Why do so many people seem to hate achievement, accomplishments, and greatness? The problem likely lies with you. No Edelman, Gronk, or run game, roughly 10 stitches on the throwing thumb, facing a top defense, down 10 with 10 minutes to play. Tom Brady proved again why he is the GOAT. Nothing to argue with there.
There isn't, and that's a fact. We've talked about this before, about greatness and wanting to see great things. There is something to be said for knocking off greatness, right? There's something to be said for, wow, that team just knocked off,
Yep.
greatness. But there's something to be said, and I like seeing greatness continue, right?
Yep.
And if it's not a bought team like the Golden State Warriors, I have no problem seeing them lose. The New York Yankees, I have no problem seeing them lose. But because they're bought teams, essentially.
One player bought on Golden State.
Fair
The
enough.
rest was developed. I hear you.
But I like seeing teams like that get defeated.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots are a team that they just always put together that works because of Brady.
It's and you can hate them, but you have to respect them.
Right. Dan Riccio at Dan Riccio 650. This is, of course, Vancouver's Sportsnet 650. No football fan in their right mind would have actually wanted to see Blake Bortles in the Super Bowl over Tom Brady. Fair assessment or no?
Very fair. I would way rather see. I hate the Patriots. I'd way rather see Brady than Bortles.
There's mail.
Bortles could lay an egg, and Brady we know is going to be good.
Yeah.
Charissa Thompson at Charissa T.
Carissa? How about Carissa?
No, I think it's Charissa. We got to get a spell check on that. CH. I think it's spelled different. Carissa's I know with no H. Undebatable. The 100% match. The GOAT and Tom Brady. The GOAT.
They almost look alike.
They do look very similar. Put a little eye black on that GOAT in there.
And some horns on Brady.
I think those are
Build
growing.
him a helmet that just has horns coming out of the top. All right, what do we got? Video content. This is unbelievable. This is Barstool Sports again. And let me make a quick thing here that Barstool Sports has some great content, but it has some absolute garbage as well. Garbage. That really shouldn't pass for journalism. Charles Barkley is Ron Burgundy, so I mean he's reading the prompter, and they've got a picture of the prompter in there. And then
I'm a dumbass.
there it is. He's a dumbass. He says it. He actually says it.
Watching that video is unbelievable. And he catches himself right at this right time. They totally set him up for that. The week before, he was trying to read the teleprompter, and he couldn't do it, so they set him up.
Listen,
well for
this
that.
is why we don't use prompters on our show, because I'm certain that Kinger would set me up and I'd go for it.
Yeah, or I would pronounce all the names right. One of the two things.
I'm Ron Burgundy. I'm Lance Phillips.
Question mark.
Well, Lloydminster, go.
Okay, I got Onion Sports Network here. Onion Sports.
Onion Sports is great.
87% of Eagles' home crowd listening to the NFC Championships on car radio after getting thrown out of stadium. That is impressive. And it was a common theme on Twitter, social media. The Eagles fans were going nuts.
You got
they were.
mail.
What do we got here? This is Andy Benedetto at Bendo7732. Haters gonna hate, but you will never see what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick have done ever again. Fair assessment?
Fair, yeah.
You don't think you'll ever see a quarterback coach tandem do this again?
There's
in our lifetime?
mail.
Not in that sport. I don't think so. Not with the salary cap. Not the way they flip coaches now. I can't see it happening.
You think they flip coaches a lot? They flip coaches on god-awful teams.
No, but like about a third of the league flips coaches every year, right?
I mean, Mike Tomlin's been with the Steelers since Christ was a
I
Cowboy,
know,
basically.
but he might one more year like that. Tomlin's gone. He did not coach well in the playoffs.
Hey, look at what's his name in Cincinnati.
Yeah, he's hanging on.
He is
He's
hanging on by a thread. Oh man.
We're back to Barstool Sports here
Yeah.
at Barstool Sports. Philly's going to see a population boom in roughly 9 months.
Like,
Macy, do not watch
this.
this.
Is in the, this. Look at,
This
I've
is
never seen
broad
anything like
day-
this.
It's not even in a club. It's broad daylight.
it's in a restaurant, is what it's in. It's in a restaurant.
Philly's very excited about the win,
You've got mail.
Oh my
especially
word.
that couple.
All right. Okay, this is honestly one of the most nutso things you'll ever see. Hang 10. Surfer, so this is ABC News at ABC. Surfer rides humongous wave off the coast of Portugal. Look at the size of this thing. And there's people watching it. It
can
looks like a
barely-
tidal wave.
Yeah, tsunami wave or something.
Dude, can you imagine how fast you'd be going with knowing
No.
that is coming in behind you?
And even when you get off your board, like what's the undertow like on that?
Oh, you can't fall. You're dead.
Oh
You're gonna swept out to the middle of the sea. Have you ever seen anything like that?
I've never seen anything like that. I thought it looked like a missile going through the water.
Listen, dude, I've surfed in Tofino when the waves are like 3 feet high, and I'm like, yeah, this is big deal, right? That wave is, what is that wave? 100 feet high?
It looks 100 feet high. So bailing on a 3-foot wave, what were you thinking? Oh no.
Well, no, not
Like-
really.
Think about how far down this guy's looking.
And how fast he's going, it's mind-boggling. I mean, you go pretty quick on that 3-foot wave. Imagine going on a 100-foot wave, how fast you're going.
Not for me, man. Not for me. Wouldn't touch it.
I'd cement myself to the board.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Welcome back, Glovers. I was waiting for your reaction because we've done that before.
Yep.
Glovers, so you don't think that's a good name for the people who watch our show?
No. Faithful supporters, we'll call them.
I don't like it either. Okay, so we're going to do something fun. We've done bold predictions, of course. We've done bold predictions with Kinger. And now we're going to revisit those bold predictions because we've been spouting them out with no real consequence.
Yeah, and a lot of them were long-term, but some of them have come to fruition,
Yes.
if you want. And
One way or another.
turns out I'm wrong a lot. But
The long-term ones we will get to when it comes that point.
In the summer.
Yes, for
when
sure.
we get there.
So listen, we've got a list here of so you started off.
Okay, so on January 10th, I said the Steelers would beat the Jags by 20 points.
I believe it was 20 plus.
20 plus. Actually, yes, 20 plus it says right there.
They did not.
Could have been wrong. Now, if the Steelers didn't give the Jags 20 to 30 points, then yeah, no, I was wrong. Just straight up wrong on that.
You should have just forecasted that the Steelers will give the Jags 20 plus points.
That happened. That was true.
Okay. I had, and this hasn't quite come to fruition, but we're getting close. So I forget what show I said this on, but it wasn't that long ago. It was in January. I said that Peter Chiarelli and Todd McClellan will be fired by the end of January.
Right.
So we're on the 23rd, and this team is actually close to 500. I don't think these guys are getting fired.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
Unless something really drastic happens.
And I don't think they get fired at the end of this year either.
You don't think so?
No.
Listen, Chiarelli just hired Paul Coffey as like a skills development coach. If he's going to work with defensemen a lot, which is probably a good thing. The guy's a Hall of Famer. He's the best defenseman ever, pretty much.
Bringing the boys back. So Coffey's only coaching history is midget AAA. Is that correct? What I read about
That's possible. I actually don't know the answer to that.
Oh.
Right. Scratch that one off.
Let's go to the next one that I was surely right about. The Raptors to win 18 straight home games. That was
when they were on their route, right?
On their route. They had 112 already. This was on January 3rd. The next home game, they lost. Yeah, so 0 for 2 for me.
Where are we here? Raptors a win. Okay, so we got that one. All right, so I also had that. This one I got flack for a long time, and I feel like it's going to happen. I had that Matt Duchene was going to score this was actually an over-under, but we still are going to go with it. Matt Duchene was going to score 30 and a half goals in 68 games. I don't even know where Matt Duchene is in the goal-scoring realm right now. I don't even think he's above 10, but he's not going to score 31 goals in 68 games.
No, that was probably, and you were heated
He's
up.
making the Ottawa Senators worse.
You were heated up about that one because you were pumped up, but it's just so you know, 7 goals in 31 games. Probably going to be tough to get there.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? That being said, he's still got 37 games to go. He's got to pound out 20 goals in 37 games, right? You said 7 goals?
7 goals in 31 games.
Oh, sorry. So he's got to pound out, what did I say? I don't even know. I can't even do math anymore.
He needs 20-some goals.
He needs 21
23.
goals. 24 goals.
So he's got to get hot and be on the PP. One that I'm close to getting right, Bandits will win 7 of their 11 remaining games.
Yeah, this is interesting.
So they've gone 4-1 since I made that prediction. That was on January 10th. I am hoping that Matt and Jesse and the boys really help me out on this winning streak down the stretch.
I'll tell you right now, so they've won 4 of 5. And that game the other night against Frog Lake, they looked good. They looked real good. They got some great goaltending from Danton Brooks. That one may come true. We're going to revisit that again as well.
Good.
On November 7th, I said that either the Eagles or the Rams will be in the Super Bowl. Now, that was when Carson Wentz was quarterbacking, but I still made that proclamation. NFC Super Bowl team is?
Yeah, that Eagles.
It's the Eagles.
I seem to remember taking a cheap shot at you in that show, and then a later show, and then a later show.
Yeah.
It is amazing that they are there with no quarterback.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I
amazing.
just want to add to it real quick that on December 13th, I said the Philadelphia Eagles will win the Super Bowl with Nick Foles.
Okay. Do you think that's happening?
I don't know. Nick Foles looked pretty good the other day.
He did. It's shocking how good that team is. And Foles is a decent QB. He's not your regular backup. We'll say he's decent.
I mean,
right?
they're in the Super Bowl, and they could do it. They're underdogs right now, but I don't think they're as big underdogs as Vegas is making them out to be.
Yes. So you're saying lay your money there.
I'm
basically.
saying there's a chance.
I had Aaron Rodgers. This was on December 13th here. Aaron Rodgers would return and lead the Green Bay Packers to a playoff
Part of
appearance.
that was true. Part of that was true.
He returned for one game, no playoffs, Rodgers on the shelf for the rest of the year. So once again, I was wrong.
Okay, so I had, on December 13th, I also had that the midget AAA Bobcats will win 8 of their remaining 13 games. So there's still 8 games remaining of those 13, and they have won 3 thus far. So they've won 3 of 5. But you're not going to win 8 of your last 13 games if you're losing 7-3 to the worst team in the Alberta Midget Hockey League. They lost to MLAC 7-3. The MLAC had 2 wins going into that game.
Oh,
2.
boy.
They were like 2-21-2 or something.
Back-to-back night, I hope.
No, back-to-back weekends.
Hey.
Yeah, not good.
not great.
And they lost to the Knights of Columbus 6-2. They're the top team in the Dodge division. But so they basically need to win 5 of their last 8 games. That's going to be a chore. That one is going to be a chore. But they're still en route.
I had October 24th. I believe that was probably like my first show. I said the Steelers were the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I might have been a little nervous that day. I think. A little nervous. Or a homer for the Steelers.
I would go with the latter.
Yeah.
Okay. On December 13th, I forecasted that the Alabama Crimson Tide will win the national championship. They did.
They did. That was a good guess.
They did.
Super talented
That wasn't a
team.
good guess. That was educational and skillful.
Yeah, because they're an NFL team
Did I
playing
sound
college.
like Donald Trump there?
You did.
That was educational.
You need to do more hands.
Yeah,
like
how does
Trump.
he do it? Does he?
Well,
he
he's
does
got a
this,
little
right?
tiny little hand. So
Yeah.
it's just
So
like
sorry.
this.
So it's like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You made another one on December 13th I'd like to talk about right now.
Please do.
Is that possible? You said Marcell Osuna will be a Blue Jay within the next 2 weeks. Now, I was saying that I heard rumors on the show that St. Louis was after him hard. He ended up at St. Louis. I'm going to say I wish that came true. I would have liked to seen Osuna there, but he is a Cardinal. It puts one on the wrong column for you,
Right.
which I still have 10.
I've got more than one. There's a couple. In
Yeah,
here.
well, mine's all wrong, so at least you deserve one there.
Well, since we're here calling people out, I'm going to call you out on December. Pardon me, December 13th. You went ahead and said that the Eagles will lose in the NFL's playoffs first round.
Yeah, and that was after a game where I watched them. I thought, this team does not deserve to be in playoffs.
What do you mean they don't deserve? They were one of the.
This is the same
one of the
argument
best
we
regular
had.
season records.
We had that, and you're like, that team's going to be first. They're going to get a bye, and I thought for sure coming off the bye, they would be slow and lose.
All right, you got one more real quick?
Yep. Shootout occur in the gold medal game of the World Juniors on January 3rd.
That didn't happen.
I was wrong again.
It was 3-1 Canada over Sweden. I think we got time for one more quick. Calgary Dinos win the Vanier Cup, I said, on October 24th.
They didn't. Mitchell Bobello.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
I wouldn't say we were horrible at that.
I was. Well, I think we were showing the negatives. I think we need to show the people maybe in the future all the things we got right.
I don't think there's a lot, though.
Well, maybe like more research, more digging.
We'll see what we can come up with next time. There's not a lot of right ones. There's some that are, that's why it's called bold predictions. We're boldly predicting something that
Should be bold wrong.
Listen, one of my teachers in school was adamant. And analysis over predictions. Roger Lajoie, he'd always say that. Analysis over predictions. Anybody can predict, which is true.
We're not good.
And that's why you don't predict, you analyze. However, we did analyze post-prediction.
Yeah.
Predict first. Okay, listen, we'll do some winner-loser here. You started off this time. You got some good ones.
Yeah. I got loser, Jacksonville Jaguars coaching staff. Up 10 in the fourth quarter against the Super Bowl champion, being passive and not being aggressive in their play calling to get another score. Big loser for me. I just don't know why
so interesting,
you
right?
got to step on the throat there. I think if they could redo that game, they wouldn't have ran it as much on first and second down. They would have tried to get a few more first downs to get that extra field goal.
Bortles is kind of scary passing the ball.
But he actually played well that game.
No, he wasn't bad,
He
but it's
passed
just-
well to the outside. Like, everything was play action. And as soon as it got late, it's like, okay, up the middle, nothing. Up the middle, nothing. Oh, God.
Running it up the gut every time.
We got to throw it. Punt. Oh, Tom Brady marching. Like,
Yeah.
you just knew the whole time. I was like, this is going to happen. New England's going to take this. Loser, Jacksonville.
I got a winner. I got a couple of local winners in here. My first one is the Hillmond Hitmen. So for those of you who aren't familiar with what the Hillmond Hitmen have done this year, they've done quite a bit. They finished the regular season for the Sask-Alta League at 14-1-1. That's a pretty good record. In fact, it was good enough to win the league title before the last game of the season was over.
Nice.
So that's good. So they're starting the Sask-Alta playoffs in first place, playing against the Paradise Hill Hawks. Okay, not only that, for the first time in 40 years, they're playing in Sask Provincials. 40 years.
That's a long time.
It's a really long time. And it just speaks to how good this team has been, that they think now's the time that we're going to compete in this. And they start against Wilkie, and there's going to be some good teams in this.
Best of 3, right?
It is a best of 3. Starts in Wilkie, February 3rd, if I'm not mistaken, and I believe it's back in Hillmond on the 4th.
Yeah, quick turnaround. Game 3 is like the next afternoon.
Yeah. Listen, it's just a good organization in a tiny community. They've done a lot of great, and I finally was able to watch a game for the first time as a fan, as opposed to having to work, which was great. I don't get that very often, and it was awesome to be out there watching these guys, and the fans rally around them. It's solid what they've done there.
That's huge.
Plus, I got to preach Ken Rutherford. The guy is a gem. The guy is an absolute gem.
You know why he's a gem, right?
No.
He works at Lakeland.
Oh, no. Sorry, I didn't realize you were going to say that. I mean, I know why.
No,
he's
he is a fantastic
good dude,
guy.
And I've said this 100 times before. It's not hard as an organization to be nice to people and be good and be welcoming, and that's what Hillmond does.
Yeah. Probably part of the reason why they're doing well.
Probably.
Winners on the flip side of the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles for making the Super Bowl without their QB. I just can't state enough how amazing it is that they lost their starting QB. Anyone else lose their starting QB, right, you're not making the Super Bowl. So winners for them.
But Nick Foles was good last season. It's not like he was dog's breakfast.
I know, but if you sit down at the beginning of the year and say, Philly, hey, listen, we're going to take away your starting QB. You're going to make the Super Bowl? Not a chance you're thinking you make the Super Bowl without your starting QB. Not
Unless
a chance any team in the NFL
say that
thinks
5 or 6 weeks into the season when you're like 5 or 6-1, and then
right,
you say that. No, no way. No way.
Yeah. I guess, a little bit different, but I think phenomenal, as I said before.
All right, I'm going to go loser here. Loser is currently it's the Ottawa Senators, but it really can be any team that has Matt Duchene on it. And I know I predicted 31 goals in 68 games, okay? Matt Duchene himself is a loser because he is clearly the problem, one of the problems with Ottawa. Listen, Colorado's reeled off 10 straight wins as of Monday night, okay?
Yeah, they're hot.
Since trading Duchene, they've gone 17, 10, and 3 since Duchene left. They were 10-6-0 before when he was there. They're a better team with him or without him, and the Ottawa Senators are a worse team with him.
Yeah, something's got to give there. And we talked about it before. There's some chemistry issues. I think there's some on-ice issues.
Yeah, and how do you know this?
I have no clue. Just a birdie told me that there might have been some chemistry issues.
Right, that's right. You have insider knowledge on this.
It was just a guess. I got another loser for you. Tennis, Rafael Nadal talked about how tennis needs to scale back the amount of tournaments in a year and how many players are getting injured.
Ask Milos Raonic about that.
Yeah, and how many guys are actually now having to step out and their careers ending because there's so many events. So I have a loser for tennis. When you're not getting the best players playing at their best, it hurts your sport. And I think it's hurting their ratings and probably hurting their sponsorship right now.
And on Tuesday, he pulled out of the Aussie Open.
Yep, and I think that was his point, right? Well, he was frustrating himself, but I think a guy that's played that long knows when you're pushing your body too far.
No joke. Well, Raonic is a great example. I mean, Raonic has been one of the biggest, one of the guys that stepped up and said the loudest that it's got to slow down.
Yep.
It's way too much. All right, here's my other local winner. It's the Lloydminster Steelers. The whole thing is a winner. Listen, this initiative started last season before. A lot of people worked hard to get this off the ground. Had a couple of these teams did not do well last season. It's turning around. The midget AAA, the PWM team, is excellent this year. Even the midget elite team, I believe they're 7-7 if I'm not mistaken. They're pretty good too. Actually, they're more than 7-7. The Bantam team is improving. Look at the whole organization as a whole is really come along. They're bringing in more players from other towns in the area. They're creating awareness for female hockey. And I'm going to say this right now, and this might be a bold prediction. It is not going to be long. And I think within the next 10 years, there's going to be a female hockey player on the national team that comes out of that program.
I like that. That's a bold prediction. Female hockey is blowing up here, and that's great to see them putting so much time, effort, and resources.
It is, and there's some good coaching in there. There's some really good coaches on those teams right now. That's a promising program. That's a very promising program.
Exciting for our community.
It certainly is.
I got another winner, Milwaukee Bucks, winning by firing Jason Kidd as their head coach. Now they'll bring in a head coach that probably has some experience, some creativity, and probably plays his guys a little bit better. I think everyone thinks it's easy to coach, but Jason Kidd definitely got a rap all the time for playing his guys weird, Players didn't like playing for him, very old school. And I ultimately have a problem when a guy's never coached before and steps into a head coaching role.
We're running low on time here. I agree with that, though. It's interesting. Bring LeBron into coach. Okay. I've got one more loser. My loser currently is the Cold Lake Ice. And not because the team is full of losers or the team's a loser, nothing like that. It's because there's talk right now that the Western States Hockey League, it could be moving into Cold Lake. So this is a league, a rogue outlaw league that's trying to set up 8 or 9 teams in Western Canada, and Cold Lake is one of them. Listen, there's not enough sponsorship to go around for 2 teams. This is going to devastate the Junior B ice. And just stop with outlaw leagues. Just stop with it.
I don't get the draw with outlaw
leagues. Don't do
leagues.
it. Absolutely don't do it. It's one of those things that just has to stop. Listen, I did play-by-play for a rogue league, an outlaw league in Ontario.
Rough.
Bad news.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Hi-oh. So we're going to do What's Got You Fired Up. This is essentially What's Bugging You, but we changed the name of it because we thought What's Bugging You is a little too negative.
Yeah.
So this allows us to be both negative if we choose, or positive if something positive has us fired up. So we're going to get to that. I think currently right now we're a little bit on the negative side just because of what we mentioned before we went to break about this Western States Hockey League. We're going to hit on this for a second here.
Startling.
So the Western States Hockey League is it's a sanctioned league with the Athletic, hang on, I'll find it here, with the Amateur Athletic Union. So it's like
AU basketball.
We were talking. I said quickly that I did some play-by-play for an outlaw league in Ontario, which was called the GMHL. Okay, it's an outlaw league. It's not sanctioned by Hockey Canada. So, and it's a joke. They call it Junior A. It's the equivalent of Junior C, if that. It was a horribly run league, and it was by guys that all they did was make money. So you'd have owners that would own multiple teams and would charge thousands and thousands of dollars for kids to come play in this league, and they tout it as Junior A. It's not Junior A.
Right.
It was hot garbage is what it was. So this is kind of along the same lines. So Cold Lake right now is trying to get one of these teams. Now listen, this league is Tier 2 Junior A, so it's semi-equivalent to what the AJHL would be. You can't have 2 teams in Cold Lake. It's not a big enough center, and there's not enough sponsorship money to go around for both these teams. That's if this league is playing games in Alberta, but they don't.
Yeah.
Chris, tell the folks where the Cold Lake team could feasibly go on road trips.
Well, I'm assuming they would play out of the Northwest Division, which would be Idaho, Lake Tahoe, Bellingham, Seattle, Southern Oregon. That would be the closest teams. We also have Colorado, Casper, Cheyenne, teams all over the place.
El Paso, Texas. El Paso. So a road trip for the Cold Lake team could involve maybe Dallas and the El Paso Rhinos. But it could also involve Ontario in California.
I don't know.
You can't fund this kind of stuff.
I don't know how you fund it unless you're charging people a lot. And then the other thing I have a question about right now, just looking at this, is how good is this league? I'm looking at the standings here. The Cheyenne Stampeders are 2-38. They've lost their last 33 games, and they're minus 309 goals against.
They're plus minus on their goal differentials, minus 309.
Yeah, well, a tough one. There's another team, Wichita Junior Thunder, 3-30. But hey, they only lost their last 6, so they're kind of coming back here. What is going on here?
They only have a plus-minus differential of minus 286.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing with these types of, like when I was doing stuff with the GMHL. Make no mistake, I wasn't with the GMHL. I was doing it on my own, and the GMHL did not like me doing it, because I think it brought some attention to their league, and they didn't want it at the time because of the way it was run. Same thing. You had teams that wouldn't win a game all season, and then other teams that lost 1. All right, that's not what's got me fired up.
Yeah, you go.
I'm going to go. But I am going to tell you what's got me fired up here. I have had people reach out to me on numerous occasions that have wondered why I'm not out there covering certain things within the community. And I'm not making any excuses for why I don't, other than the fact that there's only one sports reporter at this station, okay? Now people, I know it's a hockey town, I get it. You want to see your hockey, I understand that. But in this town, you have a team that is 16-0, they've won a national championship, they're on their way to possibly winning another, and they maybe get 100 fans per game. And I'm talking about the women's wrestlers volleyball team. And you're concerned about not covering a team that hasn't won its fair share of games? Isn't even 500? I'm happy to do it. But in the same token, get out there and support your other teams. The fact that there were less than 100 people in the gym on Friday and Saturday watching the best team this city has in any sport is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. If you want to harp on to me about being out there and promoting things, I'm cool with that. But you do it yourself. And you go to games yourself for teams that are winning. And until you do that, I don't want people sending me emails saying that I'm not out there doing my job. That's got me fired up.
That's well said. Ultimately, they're the same level as the Bobcats, right? We're the second highest level in Canada. That team is a national champion.
And again, this is not a thing on the Bobcats.
No,
okay?
no, just
because
as
it's
a level.
not the Bobcats sending me
yeah.
those emails.
No.
It's people out there.
Yeah.
And if you're going to harp on about that, go to Lakeland and watch some games there. This is not only a hockey town. There's way more going on in this town than just hockey.
Yeah. That being said,
And while you're at it, stay for the men's game. I know they're struggling, but it's good volleyball and it's fun to watch.
yeah.
You might want to do some basketball too.
The basketball is pretty good as well. Both teams are in first place. Don't forget that. I'm just comparing the level, just how high it is.
Yeah, it's insane.
What's got me fired up? The local ASAA rankings that finally came out for basketball, and we have a few local teams I want to talk about it. So sticking with the positive beat, on the 3A boys side, Holy Rosary is ranked number 5 in the province, coached by my old coach Mike Cardis. A group of grade 12 guys that should do really well. So they got a few other big tournaments coming up before zones. 3A girls from Holy Rosary are ranked 9th in the province. Once again, a very good squad. And down the road in Vermilion, the 2A boys out of J.R. Robson are ranked 9th in the province. We also have a few honorable mentions within our zone. I think it's good to note that we have strong athletics outside of just football or volleyball. In basketball season, we do have some really strong teams within the province. And once again, it's great to see them doing well in bigger tournaments. So that's what's got me fired up, is the growth of basketball in the area, not only in Lloydminster, but in the surrounding area.
Good coaching goes a long way. Listen, those Holy Rosary programs have a couple of good coaches.
Yes.
Josh Lyons is a great coach. Mike Cardis has been around basketball
since
for how long?
Since 1910, probably.
Yeah, I think so. just since the turn of the century, he's been around. Not this century, the 20th century.
The kids will believe that too. They'll be like, "Really?"
No, and that's great stuff.
Yeah, they're fantastic coaches. So keep up the good work for all those programs.
Get out there and watch some local sports. That's for sure. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in 7.